Ever since COVID, things haven't been looking that great for global shipping, as there's been not only queues but increasing fees. So what are actually things that we can do in terms of high shipping rates, increasing costs, and also reducing the inventory limitations from Amazon? So that's what I'm going to be discussing in this video. So hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so our topic today is how to overcome high shipping rates, rising costs, and Amazon inventory restrictions. And especially like these past 2 years, this has been really like pretty much like a current topic because I mean, ever since COVID started, it pretty early like impacted shipping and logistics, and basically like 2020. I mean, that wasn't that bad. I mean, it was pretty okay, but especially like last year, like 2021. I mean, that at that time the global logistics was pretty much in complete chaos, and it really impacted pretty much all Amazon sellers, and that meant that, okay, we actually do need to be more prepared in these challenges that shipping like causes, because that means that first of all we need to, I mean, on Amazon, when we're selling on Amazon, we cannot run out of stock. So that's something that we always have to keep in mind. But additionally, we cannot have too much inventory there either, because I mean, there's these restrictions that apply, and let's say that we have too much of inventory of the wrong product there that is actually not selling too well, then that is actually negatively going to hurt our account. And then besides that, there's been all sorts of like issues with the logistics companies, like there's been a lot of queues and stuff like that. But anyway, I mean, let's not focus on the problems. Let's actually start talking about solutions. And I would say definitely like one of the easiest ways to handle these inventory limits right now is just using this upstream storage program. So this is called the STAR program by Amazon. And what it means is that Amazon actually like will pick up the inventory from you and then deliver it to the target market storage, which is not the fulfillment center. It's called this upstream storage, and from there they will automatically like send your inventory to fulfillment centers. And the brilliant thing regarding this is that the limits do not apply to upstream storage. So meaning that we can pretty much have like an unlimited amount of units on upstream storage. And then basically that's one way how we can actually bypass these inventory limits from the fulfillment centers. And I have to say that, I mean, the quotes that we are usually getting from them, from Amazon Global Shipping, I mean, and in this program, I mean, it's far better like prices that we get from other freight forwarders. So right now it seems to be pretty good, and they are expanding to different markets as well, so beyond the US. But I mean, if you're not this part of this, then I mean, just definitely check out the video I did about it earlier, because I mean, that's definitely one of the easiest things you can do to really impact shipping. But anyway, so if we talk about these fees, and I mean, this year there was an increase in these FBA fees. And but I mean, typically it's going to be the customer who's paying these fees or paying these increases, because that usually means that then every seller is just going to be increasing the prices because the fees go up. Then I mean, it's not so much big of a problem for us as sellers. But anyway, I mean, we should still always like try to minimize the fees to increase our profitability. But yeah, So one thing that we need to consider is that let's only send like the items to these fulfillment centers that which we are pretty sure that is going to be sell. I mean, once we are beyond the phase that the products have proven itself and so on. And one key thing is that these fees are based on the dimension and the weight, and it's not really based on the price alone. So that means that if we really have like heavy products there, then we are going to be paying like increased fees. And in Seller Central, there's this performance dashboard, and also that's one thing that we definitely have to keep a close eye on. So it actually gives plenty of like good information that we could consider. And then, selling these items in bundles, because that's one way how we can basically get the fees down. And what we are actually doing for many of our listings is that if we have a product, when we have a product that is doing really well, and there's another like related product that is also doing well, what we are typically going to be doing is that we're going to be creating a bundle out of it and then sell it, as a separate listing, because that will actually get the fees down, and it will have different benefits as well. And one key thing that has been introduced by Amazon, it's already quite some time ago, but anyway, is this IPI score, so this Inventory Performance Index score. And so this is a metric that we really have to put like close attention to. So how can we actually improve our score? Well, it usually happens that we do get these stranded inventories from time to time, and there's it depends on different kinds of reasons, and usually it comes down to that the listing is missing some kind of information, or something happened. Maybe we made some change on the listing, and as a result, like the inventory lost connection with the listing. So these are something that we should definitely like fix all the time, because this is a general term and it can pretty much mean anything, but it just means that these products, this inventory is not viable. So that's easiest thing to fix, right? Make it actually viable. Then restocking. Typically, there are many different tools that we can use for observing inventory and so on, but Amazon in Seller Central has all these features available, so we definitely should be making use of those. And for quite a few years, the benefits, it wasn't really that useful. The features that were in Seller Central regarding inventory, but Amazon has been making improvements there, so they have been becoming better. So our logistics person, for example, he's all the time observing not only our own reports and our own tools, but she's also checking out what does it say inside of Seller Central. So that means this restocking or excess inventory and those kind of things. So those are some things that we actually need to closely monitor inside of Seller Central. Then the infamous Amazon inventory limit. So what would you say, like, how many of you have had issues due to these inventory limits? Or have you had any kind of impact due to these changes in the Amazon inventory limits? Let me know in the chat. Because typically, like, everyone is having issues with these inventory limits. So that means that we need to be more observant, and we need to be more creative in really making sure that we do not have any excess inventory. We don't have periods where the sales are just decreasing and decreasing, because if that happens, then it's just going to not only hurt that product, but it's going to hurt like other products on the account as well. And that's really annoying. Like if you see that, okay, one product is really starting to take off, but then you have some old buckets in the account, which means that you cannot actually send more of the new inventory there. So that's pretty annoying problem to have. But what we can do is that, first of all, I mean, the more sales we are going to make, the better we are going to be having these metrics. And I don't know if anyone here is actually using FBM, so fulfillment by merchant, which means that you will fulfill the orders outside of Amazon. So is anyone here doing FBM? If not, yeah, I mean, then it's definitely easier to handle this. But what we can do is also, I mean, what we actually do, that when we talk with the suppliers, that we usually like do a lot of like negotiations in, well, I mean, it's not really even negotiations, because typically the suppliers are really flexible in this kind of aspect. I mean, when the relationship has been already built, meaning that it's not our first order with the supplier. No, it's actually like our 10th order or whatever. I mean, we have already built a relationship for quite some time. So if we have actually made the effort in like having a good relation and rapport with the person, with the supplier, then that means that we are going to be getting some like flexibility that they would basically not get, that they basically might not offer to a complete new person. So that means that we can do different kinds of payment options, and we can do different kinds of arrangements regarding the shipments and many different things. So one thing, I mean, what we always teach is that, I mean, even if you're just making your first order from the supplier, then, I mean, you should immediately talk about the impressions that, I mean, your goal is actually to be long-term customer, and your goal is to, I mean, increase the orders like all the time, right? I mean, because we should never tell the supplier the reality, which might be for, I mean, which is actually for most, like a lot of the time, that we are just testing out these products, and we really don't know if we are going to be continuing. So this might actually be our only order from you. So I mean, that's something we should never tell the customer, or tell the supplier, right? So instead, we actually talk about how first we are just going to be running this test product, and we are just going to be increasing our orders, and we're going to be finding like improvements all the time. And what we usually do is that, especially like when we do these larger orders, is that, I mean, if you're like something like 100,000 units, then obviously, I mean, we are not going to be shipping those 100,000 units like at the same time. No, I mean, what we usually do is that we are going to be shipping those in gradually in batches and to different marketplaces. I mean, to different countries at different times, because that would actually be really risky. Like, let's say that we order 100,000 units, and we are going to be ship all these 100,000 units at the same time by sea. And we don't want to end up in a situation where all our inventory is only at one place, and it might actually be that, okay, if there's any kind of issues, then poof, we are just going to be running out of stock until we get more. So that's something to consider. And so many people are like asking me about how to get these storages and like this. I mean, okay, the next thing is here actually third-party logistics company. So that's definitely an option, but most of you will actually not need this. So third-party logistics is someone that can be basically like offer you the same services that Amazon does in terms of fulfillment, meaning that they can fulfill individual orders and they can just move around the orders and they can do probably like different kind of labeling and that kind of stuff. But I mean, that's not something that most of the time we don't need, because we just need kind of like middleman, which is basically caused by this limitation. So instead, it's actually first thing that I usually tell the people that no. I mean, just consider that maybe you could actually use the freight forwarder storage first. So that means that when you are using a freight forwarder, for example, to move the inventory from China to US, then you don't actually take the inventory, or I mean all of it, directly to Amazon. No, I mean you just take some of it to the fulfillment center, and the remaining will actually stay at the supplier. At the freight forwarder. So usually, I mean, it depends how long you need them to store them, but I mean, usually they are pretty flexible. And I mean, there's just so many different freight forwarders around. So if you don't like one, and you can always find another one, pretty much. And of course, like some of them will ask fees for this, but then it's good to look around at, okay, what are these other freight forwarders offering? And we should really like get this 3PL only when we actually need it, and when we cannot, we are at the point that we really can't use this like freight forwarder storage anymore. And then, I mean, FBM is an option, but that actually comes with risks, and that actually needs that we need to like handle these shippings. We actually need to care about these fulfillments and returns and all that stuff that we usually don't need to even care about when we are doing FBA. But let's say that we have been already working some time with 3PL and we can do FBM, then I mean we should definitely like apply for this seller fulfill prime. So that's something that you can find in Seller Central. But the thing is that you do not automatically qualify for this. No, it's something that you basically need to apply for it, and if they see that okay, you're a good fit, then okay, then and only then you can apply for this seller. I mean, you can become this seller fulfill prime. But another issue is that I don't think it's I don't know if it's open right now, because sometimes they just even they pretty much close the application as well. But I mean, here you need to be a whole lot more like careful in making sure that you meet all these different requirements that they are regarding using FBM. But as I like mentioned in the beginning, like anyone who hasn't who is not using this upstream storage, then I mean you should immediately look into it, because that can actually solve many of the issues. And I know, like when this pilot program started, I mean it was a really annoying. It was a really like difficult process in even getting to the program. So hopefully it's becoming better now. So definitely reach out to like Amazon and in order to get to this program. But main things that we always need to keep in mind that number one, do not run out of stock. Number two is do not have excess inventory on Amazon either. So it's about finding this right balance and how we can actually do different things really to find the optimal balance. And I mean, eventually all fees are going to be increasing, right? I mean, that's pretty much like natural model of business. I mean, typically prices are going to increase. I mean, no matter what. Sometimes it's due to inflation, and sometimes it's just to rise cost. So that just means that we just need to become like better. We need to manage our business better, and we need to be doing better job in actually optimizing these different areas of our business. And since we are selling physical products, this is something we definitely need to need to like build the skill set and mastery in how to really optimize our supply chain. Because this is something that actually the aggregators also care about it. Because if our supply chain is like complete chaos and it's like complete mess, then our business, our brand is not going to be attractive for the buyer. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, cool. Any questions?
If you liked any of these tips, then make sure that you hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And we also have a secret closed group where we discuss these topics. So if you want to join in, then just comment group and we will reach out and add you there. See you at the group.